Cambridge Audio just released one of the most exciting products that I think you guys may have ever put out.
I am thrilled and just excited on what this product sonically does, its price point, what it looks like. Is it going to be cool to that person, not cool to that person? And I finally just said, screw it, go with my gut on this one. Everything you're getting out of CX, you get that and more. You just get more detail, you get bigger dynamics, more headroom. It's one of those systems where when you just hear it, you don't have to describe it. It's just right. You just know it. To me, if you don't have that, don't bother. We were the first company to introduce hi-fi to the toroidal transformer. That's the thing that did it. I'll say it. Music can change your life.
Welcome to the Audio Insider Podcast. My name is Lenny Florentine, and with me today, I have Matt Reilly. He is the head of sales with Cambridge Audio. What's up, Matt?
How you doing, Lenny? Good to see you, man.
It's good to see you, buddy. It's been a little while. Yeah. I'm really excited because this is the first episode of the Audio Insider Podcast for Axpona. You guys get to be the first guest, and every year at Axpona, you have just a wild room that's just kind of breaks the mold. It's just always unforgettable.
And thank you so much. We're super excited to be here, and thanks for letting us be the first ones. I just feel bad for every other company coming after us because we're going to set the standard today.
We are absolutely going to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited. You got a lot of new products that are out, which we're going to get to talking about. And but tell me a little bit about yourself.
Sure.
What was your first hi-fi system?
Man, it's such a good question because I have such a nostalgic, fond memory for it. And really, I think it's for how I got it as opposed to the system, even though it was a lot of fun. It was a Pioneer EXA100, I think it was. And then sort of like this secondhand hand-me-down MCS turntable. Do you remember MCS?
Yeah.
Where that's from?
MCS, yeah, JCPenney.
JCPenney, exactly. If I'm not mistaken, I think you know this better than I do. Do you know who made that for them?
Pioneer.
Techniques.
Oh, I was wrong. You got me. You stumped the vintage guy already, and we're only 5 minutes into the show.
Yeah. So, and if
it's any credit to me, it was before I was born.
Yeah, fair. So I scored this system because I was young, hanging out with my buddy and his girlfriend, and at her dad's house, and he was like, "Hey boys, I got the stereo that's not working. Does anybody want it?" I said, "Sure, I'll take it." Took it back to my apartment. I was dinking around, ended up being a blown fuse. So 15 cents later, I had my first hi-fi kit.
That's a pretty inexpensive hi-fi kit for maybe, early 1980s? Maybe late 70s?
This would have been in the... I don't know when it was... I think it was from the 80s, because I think it was made in Japan. But when I got a hold of it, it had to have been early to mid-90s, I think.
Okay, yeah. So you had a Technics receiver.
Did I?
In theory.
Okay, look at that.
They just put, it is made very closely on the inside. They have a lot of resemblances, the both of them.
Yeah.
So that was your first hi-fi system. Were you big into music before that, or did that kind of get you into music?
I absolutely was. I had an older brother. He was about 13 years older than me, and he turned me on to music from... I can't even remember when. I was too young to remember. So I would get his old records, his 45s, his old hand-me-down rock t-shirts. And I was just there's nothing I could do. I had no choice. So I've been in love since then.
So how did you get into the hi-fi industry?
Yeah, another funny story. I was living on the East Coast, not far from your location. I was in Philadelphia. I met my better half, moved to Seattle, had a little bit of time to figure some stuff out. And she is an interior designer. She came home one night and said, "Hey, I'm working on this new project for this couple. And they do something with TVs, I think." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." She's like, "Yeah, check them out." So I Googled them. Ended up being a high-end cable company. I was like, "Oh, this is audio. This is great." Gave him a call. Had an interview next week. We connected and he hired me. Started from there.
Now, going up, did you have any more history since then, or you just...
So from there, as I got to know more people and understand the industry a bit, I made some moves, made some changes. I worked for a company called Audio Plus Services for a long time, and they distributed brands like Focal, Name Audio, Cambridge Audio, which is how I know how I kind of got here to a degree. Had history with Cambridge. So one thing led to another, and now I'm in a great place.
Well, now Cambridge has been around for a long time.
They have. Yep.
And tell me a little history about Cambridge.
Yeah, this is fun. So Cambridge has been around since 1968, which, late 60s, great time to be alive. A lot of stuff going on in the world, musically, socially, and especially in hi-fi, and a lot of like original hi-fi brands. Very humble beginnings. It was two guys going to Cambridge University, working out of their garage, wanting to make a better playback system. That simple. And
the video that you guys made for the Cambridge Audio website that explains that is amazing, by the way.
It is incredibly British. Very proud of it.
All right, you can continue. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. That's okay. That's okay. That's why, honestly, that's it. That's the beginning. 1968, two guys out of their garage, wanting to make something better than what they could purchase, and they absolutely did. They made something called the P40, and it was our first amplifier, integrated, beautiful slim chassis, wood sides, obviously toggles and knobs on there. It also included a toroidal transformer. So if you look back at things, we were the first company to introduce hi-fi to the toroidal transformer, which became just an industry standard.
Well, I see. I didn't know that. That wasn't in the video.
Yeah. Yeah.
So would you say, and we'll kind of, I'll break this into two parts, really.
Yeah.
But was that the most influential product that Cambridge Audio ever made?
I'm going to go bold on this one. Say hands down, absolutely.
Okay. Now let me take you to a part two of that question, because in the past, I want to say 3 years. It seems to me that Cambridge has made a statement in the industry unlike really any other company has. Like, you're out there, you're everywhere, you're making ridiculously nice products that everybody is loving. So, and I've seen this really in the past few years. So is there a product that you guys made around that time that really sparked the company that you said, this product changed our trajectory going forward the past few years?
That's a great question. I would love to give you sort of like this magic bullet answer and say, that was the thing. That's the thing that did it. But I feel like we all know, as in life, it's never just one thing. It's an accumulation of steps along the way that make a difference in the end. So I think first and foremost, we're a company of people. We're a company of musicians. We're a company of music lovers. One of the first things you have to do when you work for Cambridge Audio is declare what your music moment is. And sort of like that moment in a song that sort of like gets you excited, gets the hairs, raised on your arm. It can be nostalgia. It can be something new. It was the hardest question I ever had. I mean, we're in the industry, right? We love music. How do you pick just one? It took me weeks to put that on there. And then that goes on to your email signature, your business card. So we're very passionate about that. So to me, if you don't have that, don't bother. That sounds a little smug. It's a little smug, I understand. But it is crucial. We're dealing with an emotive end result through a playback system that can change your life. I'll say it. Music can change your life, and we're part of that process. It's a big deal. So if you don't have that passion, find something where you have it.
So it's very interesting that you bring up the
Yeah.
the song choice that you have to pick, that you have to put on all your business cards and everything, like emails, whatever. And I noticed that when I first met you guys, that like more so I noticed that than anything else on the business card. I don't remember if it was on the front at that time or if it's like the biggest part of the card is like what your favorite song was, or on the back, or whatever it was. I just thought that it was very interesting that everyone had this, and I always wondered what that story was behind it. But for everybody out here that doesn't know, what is yours? And why?
Okay. Love answering this because like I went back and forth and I put a few things down. Then I said, well, what is somebody going to think about me? I don't want to offend anybody, or like, is it going to be cool to that person? Not cool to that person? And I finally just said, screw it. I'm going with my gut on this one, and it's In and Out of Grace by Mudhoney. At the 3 minute and 18 mark, there's like a dual like gonzo guitar solo that's just like off the rails that I absolutely love, and it gets me absolutely every single time.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to tell you now, I'm going to have to go listen to it because I don't know what that is off the top of my head. So, now I'm
You
going to
should.
be introduced. And this is why this is so important
Yeah.
in this industry is, I don't know that song. I don't know that
Yeah.
riff, but now I want to go listen to it. And by listening to that, maybe I'll understand more about your taste, or I'll get introduced to a new type of music. And that's kind of how things just build over time.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. That's the best part about being in this is just like we get to hang out, talk about gear, talk about music. And if I could sidetrack about Mudhoney just for a second, because it's one of my favorite things to do,
Absolutely.
is when like Nirvana was starting out, all they really wanted to be was a Mudhoney cover band. So those aren't my words. You can find it online, but it's sort of coming from like the first time I can remember the first time I heard Mudhoney, and it reminds me of a quote from a movie. Is that everything else just sounded cute afterwards? So there you go.
Now you're even making me more curious because you compared it to Nirvana. So now I'm kind of
Yeah,
like, what is this?
yeah,
So,
yeah,
the hi-fi industry's been around for a long time. It's a big industry, but it's still a tight, it's I wouldn't say it's a tight net industry, but like everybody kind of knows everybody.
yep.
Everybody works together for a common type of goal. What do you think that Cambridge Audio has done at the highest level to contribute to the industry?
That's a great question. How do I answer that? I think what we do as a whole for the industry is we over deliver. We over deliver on our product, which speaks to the customer, right? Not necessarily to the industry, which is what you asked, but by doing that, what we try to do at every show, what we try to do when we're out in the public is be inclusive and bring people into the fold and bring people into the industry. And I think we do that really, really well. That's something I'm really proud of, is making those connections in and outside the industry, because we all want the industry to grow.
So, building upon that kind of in a way. So, this
Yeah.
is the Axpona Audio Insider podcast,
Yeah.
right? So, what
Yep.
would this be without talking about Axpona a little bit? And as I said earlier, you guys always make a statement with how you deliver your brand at Axpona. So, a lot of rooms you walk into, there's a big system. There's just like one thing in the center. You walk into your room, it's just a bunch of people hanging out, having fun, enjoying music. And there's some stereos sitting around and whatnot. But like that's not what the room's really about. So
Yeah.
the past few years at Axpona, what's been your favorite thing about the show?
Besides hanging out with you?
I mean, that's obviously everyone's favorite thing to do with the show.
It is. Come on.
Yeah,
Gotta
I
be.
mean that's hey, sometimes you just got to go enjoy the chips and salsa.
As we did last year. Let's not forget
Yeah.
about that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So, yeah, I honestly, you just said it. My favorite part of the show is once setup is over, the show starts. Again, we do our best to make it an inviting room. Hotel rooms are notoriously hard to make it sound good. And what we want are people to step through the door and feel comfortable first. Because if you feel comfortable, then your mind is relaxed and you can actually listen to the system that's happening. So if you're in a good mood, you can listen, decide what you like, what you don't. We're going to play tracks for you that we think sound great. More importantly, that tracks that mean something to us as well. And then we'll play tracks that mean something to you if we can dial it up via streaming, or if we can possibly have it already on one of our hard drives or on vinyl, and just make an atmosphere where people are comfortable. We usually have some kind of we have some booze, we have some bourbon, we have water,
That's my
beer.
favorite.
Uh, you know, that's how we get them in the door.
That's how you get me in the door, I guess.
It's got to be fun. If we're not having fun, why should they have fun?
Your room is one of the most fun rooms at Axpona.
Cool. That's all right.
And on that note,
Yeah, yeah.
Axpona's coming up.
I know.
What can we expect expect? What should we be looking forward to from Cambridge Audio at Axpona 2025? I can't believe I just said 2025, but at Axpona 2025.
Yeah.
What are we going to expect? There's got to be some surprises. We obviously we haven't got into the new products yet. There's going to be new products there, but like, what can we expect? Any surprises that we can get a little hint of?
Well, if it was a surprise, I couldn't tell you. But so at this stage, we're still a little ways away. We have just launched our most recent series, which is EX. So I really want to make sure we're pushing that there. I am thrilled and just excited on what this product sonically does, its price point, what it looks like. So we're definitely going to have that there. Yeah, will we have something else? It's possible. Strong possibility. Strong possibility. No promises, but strong possibility.
That's interesting. I'm very curious. I won't ask any more of that because now I'm already on in my head to the next question. So Cambridge Audio just released one of the most exciting products that I think you guys may have ever put out, and that's the new EX line. So I know you're excited about this. So for anybody that doesn't know about it yet, give me the lowdown. What is this EX line about?
Absolutely. So it is the next step up from our CX. So we have AX, CX, and now EX, and then we have Edge. And we launched an EXA100, which is our integrated amplifier, and an EXN100, which is our streaming preamp. So the EXA100 does 100 watts into 8 ohms. It's got analog and digital inputs. It's got an HDMI eARC on there, which is fantastic. I think you're going to see, as the years go on, more and more products with HDMI in it. There seems to be a big demand for that. Perfect case scenario, I have a pre-production model right now, my house, in our one room with our display and my 2.1 system, which, but by the way, if you know how to set up a decent 2.1 system, you don't need surround sound. You don't need surround sound.
That's what I have. And let me add on to that because I don't get to talk about this too much, but my house is wired for an 11 point whatever and a 5 point whatever at the same time for testing stuff. And I don't even think I put the outlets in the walls yet to do that, but it's wired. Like it's there, but I have a 2-channel system. I don't even have a sub hooked up to it right now because I'm not the biggest, movie-based person myself. But the Evo 150 is the best 2-channel TV receiver that I have ever heard. So, in all honesty, right now, out here in my studio where I'm doing this from, I have a system, which right now I have the Evo 150 in. I'm in so much trouble for taking that out of the room with the TV that you would not even believe right now. They're like begging to put that back in, and I am too, because it's wild. Usually with hooking up a 2-channel system to a TV, watching movies and stuff, you can never hear what they're saying, like no matter what. Like even 11 channel, whatever it is. Like there's always like, somebody's always like, I can't hear what they're saying. Can you turn up the center channel, or if it's a 2-channel, can you turn up the vocals or something? And it just, for some reason, a lot of time doesn't always work. But the Evo is just phenomenal. So I'm so excited for the EX line to hook it up to the TV. Like this is what I'm most excited about doing with this. I want to hear what it sounds like. And of course I listen to music down there as well. And I listen to music out here. But I was so impressed with, and I don't know what it was. It's not like it's this big. It's this, and it just blows everything else that I've tried with my TV out of the water. So I can't wait for the EX for that exact reason that you were talking about.
Man, it's so funny. I'm so glad you said that because I had a very similar situation. Look, I'm biased, right? I work for Cambridge, so take it as you will. But the Evo 150 has been the longest lasting piece of equipment in our shared living space. For that reason, so because it's a real life scenario, right? So of course I've got a little system where it's like strictly dedicated 2-channel, and that's my private little Matt space to do my little listening. But 99% of the time, it's my family, and we're listening, and we're watching a movie. And the Evo 150 does it all, right? So you hook up your HDMI. I've got an Apple TV. You now have one remote to control everything, and it looks good, it sounds good, and most importantly, it just works. It works.
It does work, and I've lost my
Yeah.
remote, but it does work. But that's okay. I have the Stream Magic app, so I can just like
Yeah.
go to it and change the volume.
Yeah.
I was out here listening to somebody last night, and we were listening to the 150, and we like cranked it on the unit, and I'm like, I got to turn the volume down, and he's like, I don't know where the remote is. And I'm like, don't worry about it. I'll pull up the app and get it down, because we were trying to turn it down on like Spotify, and we couldn't do it, so I just went in the app. It really is a great app.
Yeah.
Which is very commendable for you guys. And does the EX line have a new app, or is there an app update?
So the EXN100, excuse me, will use the same Stream Magic app. So
Oh, great.
once you have your unit, download the app, connect, find your unit, click on it, you're off and running.
So how is the EXA100 like built? What went into designing this? What was the purpose behind this? Like, why did you guys make this product?
Customer demand. For a long time, we've had people that love our CX series, and love our CX range, that is, and want to know what the next level was, and weren't quite ready to jump up to the price point of where Edge sits. So we wanted to fill that demand, keep people happy, do something we always do, which is over deliver on our engineering and our sonics, our design, and that's where EX comes in. It is. I'm excited. I can't wait for more people to hear it, own it, get it. It's a great piece.
So for someone that has the CX line,
Yeah.
why are they upgrading?
Oh man, because you're always chasing that dragon, man. You gotta know what's next. You gotta know what's next. And you know, I make light of it. I make a joke because I'm the same way. It takes you everything you're getting out of CX. You get that and more. You just get more detail. You get bigger dynamics, more headroom. It's one of those systems where when you just hear it, you don't have to describe it. It's just right. You just know it. And to me, that's when you hit the mark.
You get me pumped up to this. I can't wait to hear this thing. It's just insane. Because I do love the Edge line. The Evo line's great. I probably have less. I don't know that I've tried the AX line myself. Just
Okay.
in
Yeah.
what I've done, but I've been so happy with the CX line, right? So
Yeah.
the CX, and this is how we'll move up into the EXN100, because the CXN100 is by far up to, until I'm sure I try the EXN, and then I'm just blown
Yeah.
away, is by far my favorite streamer. And you have a higher end streamer. There's higher end streamers, but
Sure.
at that price point and the features that are on it and everything that it does, like, I don't remember just having that experience with something like I did the CXN100. Even going from the previous version, I was just so much more happier with the new one. So, like, if somebody had the old one, I'd be like, dude, you just need this. And like, it's just the experience. You guys really do a good job making the listening experience an experience.
Man, like thank you so much, because that's the goal. I think that's the goal of any audio company, is because what we do is experiential. Music is this form, is this language that we've had since the beginning of time, that these tones and melodies and notes and words like put together that say something that we just can't express any other way. So again, going back to what I said earlier, is being part of that playback chain, and sort of getting out of the way and letting the music do what it does. That's our job.
So the one question that everyone has that nobody really has the answer to yet, but I think if anybody does, you guys are very close on this.
Yeah.
How do you think that Cambridge Audio is going to reach the next generation of hi-fi enthusiasts? Because let's face it, that's the goal, right? So a lot of audiophiles and people who might be watching this, they've grown up in this before there was all the stuff there is now, and everybody's listening on phones, have AirPods in, whatever. But you have a new group a new generation of people, and like, my son has, listens to records. That's what he does. He enjoys it, and he's around that. But how do you plan on reaching the next generation?
Yeah, I'm going to answer that by saying we already do. And yeah, here's here's why I say that. I say that because if we look at this from let's just look at it from a timeline for a second. If we go back to, I think it was 2008, we came out with the DAC Magic, right? So that was an affordable separate DAC that you hook up to your computer, which was speaking to the people that wanted to get into digital music, which generally has been a younger audience. Fast forward to 2011, that's when we first came out with our own streaming platform, Stream Magic. And for where our industry sits, those were kind of early days. Again, over delivering, making it accessible, bringing it to a younger audience. In 2019, we launched some in-ear headphones as well, and then in 2024, we came out with two new headphones, our M100s, which are in-ears, and our P100s, which are over-the-ear Bluetooth headphones that I have right there. So I think doing things like that, and like we talked about earlier, when somebody comes visit you, like, we're representing the brand, so we like to have fun, and we like to make it again accessible and a party. And if that doesn't bring in younger audiences, I'm not sure. I don't know how else to do it. So the other thing I want to add to that too is we're reaching out to outside of our industry to connect with people. One way we do that is we were able to get our turntables into a small boutique hotel in Los Angeles called Gold Diggers. And if you go take a look at Gold Diggers and their history and what they're doing, it's in Los Angeles. They got 10 rooms. It's also an 8-room recording studio and bar and venue. And they're doing some amazing work. So reaching some people there. We just did a collaboration and a donation with Dublab Radio out of Los Angeles. And they were one of the first radio stations to start streaming about 25 years ago. So, and if you listen to Dublab, they've got some really interesting music. And daily, you'll hear a sponsor from Cambridge Audio on there as well. So that's, again, reaching people where they are. That's what we try to do.
Yeah, I mean, I totally see that. And taking that another step forward, you guys are, you have a podcast with musicians, right? So you've had some pretty big names on your podcast and stuff with different musicians. So how do you think that you guys doing that has changed your trajectory?
I think it's helped us and helped people realize, again, we are a company of music fans. And, making audio is an excuse to play some good music. And that's one of the best things about Axpona, honestly. It's an excuse for us to hang out. It's an excuse to see industry people that are friendly competitors, but you know what? We're still having beers at the bar at night because we love music and love talking about it. You look at our Made by Music podcast, we've had Fatboy Slim on there. We've had Alexis Taylor from Hot Chip. We've had Boy George, some cool people. We're doing a new series called Mic Check, done by our very own Liam. Go check it out on YouTube. It's absolutely amazing. He's interviewed a couple of people at Rough Trade in London, which is a great record label that we've collaborated with as well. He just did a mic check with Los Bichos, great international band, but basically out of the UK. Go check out their music. So, again, I mean, how many bands have we talked about today? This is
right.
This is great. Yeah, exactly.
So, talking about music and listening and getting that experience, where do you see this in 10 years?
So, how do I not bring up AI, right? I mean, talk about the future.
Is this even actually you? Is it me?
I know. We're all living in the Matrix, right? And all jokes aside, however, I do have a bit of advice with AI. Be nice to them now. Because when the robots take over, and they will, they're going to remember. So you want to be on the right side of history with this. So say your please and thank yous if you're working with ChatGPT. So with that, I can see AI coming into hi-fi somehow. I don't know if it has to do with like the music part of it or playlists. And it's very general. But on the technical side, I think in the last, say, 3 to 5 years, things like room correction has come a long way. And I think we're going to see more and more of that within the audio world.
I think you like nailed that because
Yeah.
AI is already in. So I listen to Spotify, right?
Yeah.
And any whatever streaming service you listen to, it already knows the
Yeah.
songs that I
Yep.
am going to listen to just by putting on one song. Like, so it's integrated, but the room correction thing is a great point because of all the tools that we have, and you can manually do it, you can use all these different softwares.
Yeah.
That's the thing that probably, if that goes AI, it's so much easier, and everybody can benefit from that. And like I would, I have a hard time with those kind of softwares, right? So AI,
Yeah.
that'd be helpful for me. I'm a 2-channel guy, so
Yep.
and
Yep.
even at room correction, I'm probably not using that on 2 channels, so
Right.
that would
Right.
really help. So with the new EX line coming out, I was concerned maybe the Evo, which I have personally, is going away. Is that the case?
That is not the case at all. So the Evo is here to stay. We've got an Evo 150. You probably, I can't say what you'll see or won't see coming in the future, but you will see more along those lines. Of course, we just came out, just started shipping. If you can see it right there, is the Evo One. So, which is our all-in-one system that's getting some good reviews.
I mean, I myself am very thankful that the 150 is sticking around because, you're saying there might be stuff in the future for it. And I mean, I'm literally looking at those meters that you guys added recently, which is such a good touch. And like, there's a lot of meters out there that like digital meters that people add, but the way that you guys did it, I don't know what it is. If it's the shadow on the little meter thing, I'm going to get all kind of crap in the comments for calling it a meter thing. But if it's the shadow or the way it moves, something about what it looks like is so aesthetically pleasing. And I'm just excited about that. You guys have the new Evo One, which I haven't got to try yet, which is just getting all kind of reviews out there. So I'm excited. Yep. I think to the point where it's doing so well, we can't get it yet or right now, and there's probably more coming or whatever. But there's a list. There's a list for this thing. That's how good it is. So to make an all-in-one that has that type of demand is saying something, because typically all-in-ones are not the best performers or have the best, fanfare. But this thing, something special about this. That's why I'm so excited to be able to hear that hopefully soon. Hopefully, I'll get to hear that soon. But that, the design is awesome. So I love how the speakers on the inside, and you can take the cover off this thing. Is that a true thing, or is that just me imagining from looking at how it looks in the pictures?
Yeah, I think you're imagining. I mean, technically you could take it off, but it wouldn't look like a finished product at that point.
Okay,
so
but I saw all the speakers. You have like the speakers on the corners and all these places that you wouldn't usually find them, and that's just so like I'm curious of how that would go like in my living room because it's minimalistic and it just sounds like a great thing.
Exactly, and I love a product that solves a problem and is a performer. It's aesthetically pleasing, it's sonically amazing, and it solves, like, if you live in a small place, because not everybody maybe has like a big room or has the room for big speakers or even bookshelves, and you like sound, you like audio, you like music, you like watching movies on whatever your streaming service you watch it on, but you don't want a sound bar. Because we all know sound out of your TV, not so great. Soundbar helps out a little bit. But if you want to really take it to the next level without breaking the budget, go for an Evo One. It's got 14 drivers in there. It's going to be room-filling sound. Again, HDMI eARC on there. Hook it right up to your TV with if your Apple TV or your Roku, whatever box you're using. It's going to work great, sound great.
So I'm extremely excited to hear it one day. So that'll be great. Maybe it's at Axpona, maybe it's before. I don't know, but it's going to be. It looks like a great product that I would put in my
Yeah.
living room, and that would
Yep.
be wife approved. So that's exciting in itself.
Yeah.
And what's one interesting fact or one thing that you would want everybody to know about Cambridge Audio? If you had to tell them one thing, if you're like, we're Cambridge Audio blank, what is that?
So, one thing I want people to know, and honestly, it's something I already said, is that we are made by music, which is why we called our podcast Made by Music. We love music. Our HQ is in London, and the first thing you see when you walk in the door is we have a wall. And do you remember when I mentioned how we all have our music moment on our email? We have everybody's music moment, whatever vinyl that is, we have it on the wall. Next to that, we've got our bar. And then over here on this side, we've got our stage. So, and we regularly use that for events, get togethers to, not only do work, but, have a good time and celebrate each other and celebrate music. And that's what I want people to know about Cambridge is that, like, we care about our users and we care about music.
And on that note, if you were to be able to tell me, 40 years in the future, 50 years, 100 years, whatever it is, what is the legacy of Cambridge Audio?
Wow, man, you asked some good questions. I love it. What is the legacy of Cambridge Audio? That we've over delivered on the musical experience. Yeah, that's it right there. That we over delivered on the musical experience.
That's perfect. That's perfect. That's amazing. And I'm a believer, okay? I own a Cambridge Audio product. There you go. I own a lot of audio products here and there, but the Cambridge is the one that is probably used more than a lot of the other ones because it's on my TV. So
Yeah.
It's very exciting. I can't wait to see you guys at Axpona. It's going to be great. You guys always put on quite a show. I'm really looking forward to it. You guys out there who are watching this, you got to get to the show. You got to see Cambridge. You got to see the new products. You can listen to them where you might not have a chance to listen to them anywhere else. Now, I've asked you a lot of questions. Let's end it with one for me.
Ooh. Oh. Okay. What have you been listening to lately?
Oh, there you go. So, what's interesting at Jelly Roll just released an album.
Saw that.
And I kind of came into listening to him and actually saw him at a wrestling show. So I was up in Cleveland and I went to the Brown Stadium for SummerSlam, which is a big wrestling event.
Okay.
And he performed to open the show, which was really cool because I was just starting to listen to him. So that's the album I've been listening to. I like his tonality and I like, because I wouldn't say he's country, maybe southern rockish. Like he's just a mix of everything. But I think the thing that's special about him and that what he's doing and what people like Post Malone are doing, Post Malone's another guy I'm listening to a lot of, is they're collaborating with other people in other genres. Okay. And something about that, or taking songs from the 80s or 90s or whatever and remixing them. I love, covers and that kind of stuff. I'm a big cover guy, right? So the way that they're spreading their music around to all different genres who typically wouldn't listen to them is just amazing. So Jelly Roll's one, Post Malone's one. I love this cover band called Our Last Night. It's a screamo cover band. So it's not like screamo where you don't understand what they're saying, but it's like a hard rock cover band.
Yeah.
And they take all the pop songs that are out. Stick Season. You've heard that song. They just released that. Beautiful Things. They just did that one. But it's a rock version. I just love covers. And that's what I'm listening to. Those people who go cross-genre right now is what I'm into. It lets me experience more music.
Man, that's so cool because, again, that it speaks to the experience. It speaks to what's sort of like happening in the world. And it speaks to how music does cross boundaries. You don't have to be in one genre for it to like mean something to you, and that's really cool. When you talk about Jelly Roll, who's had a really interesting career. You know, I think he was incarcerated, was a rapper, has like transitioned over into not country Americana. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. It's super great. I appreciate you sharing that with me.
Of course. And I thank you for joining us today at the Axpona Audio Insider Podcast. Hopefully, we got our viewers and listeners some inside information that they wouldn't get anywhere else. That's why I'm here to ask the questions that nobody else is asking, right? And to get those kind of answers. So I'm so thankful that you joined me. I appreciate it, Matt. I look forward to seeing you at Axpona. And, if you guys enjoy this, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Check out Cambridge Audio. Check out the new EX line. Check out the Evo One. Matt, thanks. And
appreciate you, Lenny.
Soon,
Thank
man.
you.